Rob G, can you set the table here? Deion Sanders spoke about Shedeur and him slipping to 5 in the 5th round, I should say, and whatnot. But, of course, it wasn't anything that Shedeur did. It was everybody else.
That's right. And, Rob, one day I'm going to get a portion of your salary for setting the table for all of these topics.
But that's what a producer does.
That's not what a producer does, but I appreciate it.
What does a producer do?
It does everything before the show. But in any event.
Yeah, but that's why you get extra free sodas and Rob G won't admit.
Extra
He'll be at at a Popeyes and order a 2-piece.
Okay.
They'll recognize his name, his voice from the show.
They'll see the jacket that I'm wearing.
He got an odd couple thing and they'll throw in an extra biscuit or extra leg.
Which is always nice.
Rob, you're making it worse.
Rob G, am I
Like
right?
you basically out here working for scraps. Stop doing my man like that.
As you alluded to.
I will say this. It has happened to me.
I believe it.
And I've always oh, that's so nice.
Oh, no, I don't want you to get in trouble. But you really go ahead and give me that.
No, I don't. I'll find out later when I can open the Colonel's box.
Oh, you mean, okay.
You know what I mean? Say, and I ordered a 2-piece or whatever. There's 3-piece, 2 biscuits. I'm like, that's awesome. You don't know.
It's the littlest thing. That biscuit cost them .00001 cent.
Gesture. You know what I'm saying.
No, don't get it twisted. I'm happy.
They recognize you and say, "Oh man, I love your show," or whatever.
No, you know what's unreal? I mean, I just heard this. Ben Maller, who I think, all respect to the Odd Couple, Ben Maller got the best fans in all of sports media, period. Allegedly, I got to confirm when I talk to these people later today, a fan in Canada paid for airfare, room, and board for everyone on their show to do a Maller meet and greet over the weekend.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hold on, Rob.
And
the Odd Couple fans have been challenged. Rob G just called them out. He just said y'all need to man up, or we'll man up, and make sure we are out. Where do you want to go, Rob? Where do you want to go? Vegas?
Right.
Hawaii, Vegas. And get us to
want to
Hawaii
get
or
out.
Vegas. We want to get flued out.
We wouldn't
That's right, flued out like Mary know about.
It wouldn't have happened if I was that fan, because I'm not paying the tariffs for Ben Maller and his beautiful wife to come. I'm not paying the tariffs.
Shout out to Ben Maller and the militia. But any event, as you talked about.
Ben Maller.
Love Ben Maller.
Yeah.
Our couple fans, Rob G's taking shots.
I am. Speak the truth. But any
Just
event,
saying.
you mentioned it right off the top. Shadur Sanders fell to the 5th round, and depending on who you ask, it had less to do with his on-field performance and everything to do with him off the field, specifically the way he conducted himself when he met with teams at the combine and during the draft process. According to at least one report, he had a particularly disappointing meeting with the New York Giants. They wouldn't say exactly what it was, just that they came away very unimpressed with him, that he seemed uninterested in selling himself to the franchise and what he could bring to them. And the word that was thrown around by a lot of outlets was unprofessional.
And then in one of the meetings, he had headphones on, right?
That was alleged. Right. So according to Deion Sanders on the latest episode of Say What Needs to Be Said.
Say what you need to say.
Deion was not a fan of these reports. Take a listen.
When you sit up there and say something like he went in a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Shadur Sanders, who's had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're gonna tell me
every situation.
You're gonna tell me he had on headphones. Shedeur, anybody know my son, understand he's a professional. Like, he's gonna go into a meeting with headphones on. Like, y'all, come on, man.
Here's my issue. Seriously, I wasn't in there. Deion wasn't in there. We don't know. Okay, we gotta go. Out of respect of who Deion is, okay, everybody's lying on Shedeur against Deion, a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest football players who played in the National Football League.
For sure.
Okay.
Top 5 athlete
Am I right?
ever in history of Earth.
Played Major League Baseball too. Okay? Like, seriously. And the whole idea that these are fake stories or they put out a narrative, whatever, all these different teams, they have their own scouts, their own people. A report comes out that's going to chase you if that wasn't your situation or what you experienced. Or if you wanted to, pick up the phone and call Deion or whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't buy into the idea that somehow Shedeur was wronged and everybody just went on a one report or some. And the anonymous quotes. I wish people would stop this. This is how you know they don't know anything about journalism. some of the biggest stories ever broken and most important news and information we've ever gotten in this country are anonymous sources. Okay?
Anything.
And anything. And the people who are the bosses at these outlets, they know who said it. A reporter can't just put it out. Well, where'd you get that from? I got it from the owner of the team or the general manager of the team. Okay, we're rolling with it. Not the guy who's working the door at security who says this. Do you know what I mean? Like it's vetted. Number two, which if there was on a podcast and they were really asking questions, if that's the case and it was made up and and they just ran with this report, why didn't Tom Brady, who's supposedly his mentor, okay, who has worked with Shedeur and knows the kid and all that, why did the Raiders pass over Shedeur 5 times? Because if I was Tom Brady and I was a 6th-round pick and people picked over me, passed on me, and I see this kid who's a bona fide, was supposed to be number 1, and he's dropping, and I'm the Raiders, Tom Brady, you want to change an organization? That's where you change the organization. I don't care what the reports are. We're taking Shedeur. He's going to be our quarterback for the future. That was on the table. And even Tom Brady, Rob G, didn't they have 5 or 6 picks in the first 5 rounds? Because I know they had multiple in 1 round at least. So they passed over him. Come on. Be fair. People are trying to hold on to their jobs. General managers, scouting directors, right? It's not an exact science. It's not. And we talked about it before. They're wrong more than they're right. Mm-hmm. And they could be wrong on Shedeur. But don't act like it's just what one report surfaced and that was the only thing that was made people not pick Shedeur. First of all, there were only 4 teams looking for a quarterback. That's number 1. So 26 teams didn't pass on him. They didn't want a quarterback. Right? It only takes 4. And guess what? Tom Brady not pushing the Raiders to get him is my validation because he knows the kid. How in the world, with an extra pick, did you just not take a flyer? You've been dying for a quarterback with the Raiders. Dying for a quarterback. And they didn't do it. So I'm just, I'm not going to sit there and buy it. And I get it. That's his kid. Kid, you know this. You have kids. I don't have kids. They can't do anything wrong in their parents' eyes. Privately, you'll scold your kids, but you wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Tom said that he wasn't a part of evaluation, which I don't fully buy. I mean, you're Tom Brady.
But he worked with him.
That's what I'm saying. You're Tom Brady.
He didn't work. He worked with him.
Shedeur.
Thank you.
And I've been.
Am I right to say he's a mentor? Then you're not a mentor.
Yeah,
then
he's
how are you
a
mentor if you haven't looked at him or evaluated him as a quarterback?
Well, he's saying he has an evaluation team with the Raiders. Is what he's saying. That was his cop out. I don't buy that, and that maybe you literally weren't in the room, but you absolutely are Tom Brady. You have something to say with that.
That's like having a hat in your locker that says "Make America Great."
No,
you don't know how
I don't even know what you.
I don't know where that got.
Gosh,
is that in there?
Crazy.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Mega. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. No. So a couple of things. I think what we're witnessing is a little bit of half truths. What I mean is, so let's say somebody said he walks in with headphones, and let's say he actually walked into the facility with headphones in, but not in the meeting. But it comes out now. It looks like it's in the meeting, but it's how things get misconstrued. Yeah, the kid walked in with headphones.
How about if he walked in with headphones?
That is a possibility.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
But to me, I go back to this. I do believe a large portion of what we're seeing is in response to not just Shedeur, Deion. I think there is a part of people and organizations that were fearful of Deion. And what I mean by that is we draft him, but we're playing Joe Blow in front of him. And Deion is saying Joe Blow shouldn't be starting my son, and becomes a thing. Because unlike a lot of dads and even famous dads, they don't have a megaphone or microphone like Deion Sanders. The man has about 3 different shows on 3 different streaming apps. He's massive on social media. He has an entire state of Colorado loving him.
Didn't stop the Lakers from drafting Lonzo Ball. His dad was out front. It didn't stop them because they thought they had something.
They thought they had that guy.
But that's what I'm saying with Shedeur. Because you would endure a loud parent if I got a superstar kid. Then I'm not worried about whether he's going to play or not.
LeVar Ball, while big in that moment, those handful of months, is not Deion. Great, I get what you're saying. So I do think there's an element of folks like, what if we – and Deion is a coach. Does the cries become, oh, is Deion should be the coach? Should we fire and then have the son and the father? I think that was a real thing. I also think just people misunderstanding, because now we get you got the color analyst who has spoken out about how great Shedeur has been, what a great guy he is, how fantastic of a football player he's been so far in the OTAs, and he said, man, he's very confident. Like, very confident but not cocky. And I think people have misconstrued him. And I was talking to Rob G earlier. If you saw a video of the number 2 and number 1 quarterbacks we thought would be, Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders, going at it at a joint training session, you would have thought them dudes hated each other. It was the most trash-talking, hardcore. You'd have been like, oh, my, this is intense. Am I lying, Rob G? It was intense. But that's just how they are. Shedeur, Deion Sanders, his players, his sons, he demands nothing but respect from them. So it goes against everything we've seen from him to not be respectful, to hear him not being respectful, because we've had 20-something years of him being that. And going last point, when you just look at, again, what the kid did on the field, it just didn't make sense, which is why it was such a big deal that he went down to 5th. Because if he wasn't supposed to be drafted higher or wasn't a better talent, we wouldn't have had those conversations. What made this one of the biggest drops in the draft history is that he was good. He did throw for 14,000 yards, 134 touchdowns to only 27 interceptions, 74% completion rate. One of the worst offensive lines in college football, yet he threw a guy to a Heisman Trophy. And that's why people were shocked that all of a sudden he went from going to be high pick. Okay, fine, let's say he's the first round. Let's say he's in the first round. Let's say he's early second. Drop down to 5th, Rob, it just didn't make sense.
It did make sense that they evaluated him differently because they looked at a lot of things. First, I'm telling
50
you,
starts.
the same way nobody wanted Tim Tebow around. Okay?
Not a quarterback, though. I'm saying he's not a quarterback.
No, but I'm talking about when Tim Tebow, he won a national championship in college.
A quarterback.
Yeah. Who? Tim Tebow?
Yeah, like we coming out, we knew. He's not a great quarterback.
Okay, but no, he went to Denver. Mm-hmm. They moved up in the draft. They wound up costing who is it from the Patriots? The offensive coordinator wound up costing him his job. He moved up to draft.
McDaniels.
McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels, yeah.
Moved up, got him. He won a playoff game against Pittsburgh, right? And still people, because he wasn't that good, and then all the other stuff that comes with him. In the case of Shedeur, I do believe that while he did put some of those numbers up, and I'm not saying that there's a lot of guys who have put numbers up. You have guys in smaller schools, I'm not saying Colorado's small, but who put up numbers and they still don't get the look or people don't buy into them. And the fact that he only beat one ranked school, and in some of the bigger matchups against better schools, that he didn't perform that well. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a spot in the NFL, but I think the evaluations early, I can't believe that 30 teams with multiple picks could pass on him if they really believe he's going to be a star, because that's what you're in a draft. That is what you're looking for. Is that moment that people are passing on somebody and you're the one that grabs them, and that's what I'm trying to say. I can't buy that all these people went off of one report and decided
that is where we
that's
differ.
Not true.
I believe
just not.
I believe he is not a clear-cut Andrew Luck type of talent where that was obvious. Right. But I think he also, the reports that come out, I think his father being his father and kind of putting him in a place.
If he had the talent, trumps all of that.
But I don't think he had to have a top 10 talent, meaning I don't think he was these other guys, but he absolutely had extreme more talent than warranted a 5th-round pick, and I think everybody knows it, and I think we're going to see it too. And I think
so. He's the starter. He's going to be the starter from the.
No, they're going to start Kenny Pickett because they went and got him.
Why?
He's better.
They got Matt Flynn and paid him a ton of money in Seattle, and guess what? Russell Wilson showed up, and guess what? They got the job.
They brought in.
It don't matter.
Hold on, they Joe Flacco. I'm answering your question. They brought in Joe Flacco. They brought in Pickett. They drafted Gabriel. That's why. If it were just one guy,
you take the best player.
He's going to start eventually.
You take the best player because as a coach,
Shedeur
you're trying to win. Look at where the Browns are. They haven't had a quarterback in 20 years.
Shedeur Sanders will be the starter at some point next season.
And if he's not, then they were right?
No, he will start.
I'm asking you, if he doesn't.
He is
I'm asking you if he doesn't.
Shedeur Sanders is going to be their long-term starter, period.
I don't think he will be. 877-99 on Fox, because it'll be a historic rise from being drafted where he was.
Who's the GOAT?
No, Joe Montana?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's the other GOAT?
No, there's only
That's
one.
a fourth-round pick,
and there's
a sixth-round pick.
There's the only
Pick
one.
a GOAT.
No.
Yo, go my GOAT.
No.
Yo, go my GOAT.
Five
Don't
teams
matter.
bet fifth round. Tom Brady. Did you see Tom Brady in college?
I'll split the difference.
Did you see Tom Brady in college?
You
at
know I saw
Michigan?
every snap.
Okay.
877-99 on Fox, taking calls.
Deion, Shedeur, everybody's wrong except for them two. Is that what it is?
Us three.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
he's
you.
gonna- I'm telling you.
877-99 on Fox.
The starter for most of the years in Cleveland.
Drew, just like who's the Steelers quarterback that you claim?
I don't know who it is. Mason
Yeah.
Rudolph?
No.
They ain't got a quarterback,
No,
Rob.
Fields.
They should have kept
Yeah,
Justin Fields.
Justin
And I
Fields.
stand by that.
Okay.
And every time we have somebody on, they say, they
don't.
should have kept
No, they
Justin
don't.
Fields. Yes,
Everybody.
they do.
And you were all, he gel with the team. They want
I
him.
can't
He ain't
believe
going to do that.
I can't believe
I
it.
told you exactly when Russell Wilson was healthy, he was going to do that. All right.
And where is
let's
he
go.
at now? I'll argue with
Drew
you
in
after
New Jersey. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Drew?
Hey, guys, I think that this story that Deion is putting is fake news, and they're just trying to clean everything up. What I will say is, if you want to be accurate, year one in Colorado, you won 4 games. They played 5 top 25 teams, right? The only team they beat that was ranked was their first game that season. They ended up being 5-7, so that was fake. And then the Pac-12 ended up evaporating, and somehow all of the West Coast teams are now playing in the Midwest and the ACC. So that's one thing. You only play 2 ranked teams all year. And if you guys want to say their offensive line sucks, the one thing I will say is this is the only time I've ever heard an offensive line being talked about in any college football team ever. What I will say is Colorado ran the ball less than the Navy threw the ball this year, and that's by design. They wanted to showcase Travis Hunter, and they wanted to showcase Shadur Sanders. Do you want to bet one thing? I bet you that you will not hear anything about Colorado's offensive line this year because they're probably going to run the ball this year.
Or because they don't have a star in Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders.
They also had the number 1 offensive lineman recruit last year.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate
Drew.
it. Andre in Massachusetts, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Drew?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking the call. Listen, I have to concur with the previous caller. I think this is a little bit of Shedeur and Deion trying to kind of inoculate themselves, fortify themselves against all the critics. You know, you don't just drop their number 5 pick overall, 5th round pick overall. Right. Excuse me, as my dog kind of gets a little animated here. You know, it's not everybody else, not you. You know, you have to take a little bit of culpability in the situation.
100%. 100%. It's everybody else.
If he goes out there and shines, it's all done. So he has a golden opportunity, particularly with the Cleveland Browns, to set everybody up. So there's an opportunity in this beyond the disrespect. You feel that you were wrong. Go out there year one, earn opportunity to play, shine bright, and it's all said and it's all over with. So I think that's how they should look at it, rather than woe is me and the world is out to get me. Thanks for taking the call.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt in Indiana. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Matt?
Oh well. Hey, thanks, Rob and Calvin.
Appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
Hey, I think that Deion, he knows where he's at, and I think that he's going to push things as fast and the most forward he can for Shedeur. This is just gas on the fire. It just adds to the limelight and everything that he has the potential to do. But the position they're in. Deion's like, hey, all right, let's take advantage of it right now.
Right. Well, I mean, Deion's on the record saying the last place you want to go as a quarterback was Cleveland. That's fact. That ain't no. Was that misreported, or was that Deion himself, or was somebody? That's what he said. You don't want to go there. Oh no.
The Bears too.
That's funny.
Up there too.
Okay.
Because man, how you going that long without a 4,000-yard passer? All right. Thanks for the calls.
Easy,
We got
you run
Joe
the ball.
Vart.
You have a great running back.
That's in 2020s. That's almost an impossibility the last 25 years.